since you found the video and clicked on it, we're going to talk about why you aren't necessarily making the most gains in the gym. And it ain't that complicated. The reasons aren't infinite. There are reasons why. Okay? There's reasons why for everything. Okay? So, number one, numero uno, you're not following the laws of nature. You're thinking, what? Laws of nature? This is gym stuff. No laws of nature. I just go in and lift heavy and do my thing. No, there's laws of nature going on here. There's laws of nature all around us. I'm not talking nature like what you see here. Pretty background. Not this kind of nature, guys. The nature of reality. And the first rule of gains in the gym is you got to train with the intensity of effort enough to stimulate an adaptation to get better and stronger in the gym. You see, aesthetics is not, your body doesn't care what you look like, right? The aesthetics come from the human mind and our ability to create art through what we look like, okay? The bench press doesn't care that it's building your chest. It doesn't. We know it does. But other than that, the movement itself, our body just knows there's weight coming down on us from this particular angle. I got to press, I got to use force in the opposite direction to get that force to go back in the direction it came from. Wow, that was like one of the best ways I've ever described that. Huh. Getting better at this. But it's true. Laws of nature say that unless you are training intensely enough, there won't be a muscular reason to grow and get bigger. It'll look aesthetic, even though looking aesthetic is not a law of nature. So you got to train intensely. That's number one. What do I mean by that, though? Training intensely in a bodybuilding context means that your proximity to failure, you're getting closer and closer to that failure point or beyond. That's what a bodybuilder would say intensity is. I'm training an intense leg day today. You can bet your bottom dollar bippy they're probably training close to or at failure on most of their lifts, on probably most of their sets. Okay? Now, what a powerlifter or a strength athlete would call intensity is percentage of their 1 rep max. So an intense workout for them would be 95% of their 1 rep max. That's intense. That's intense work. You know, that's probably 1, maybe 2 reps if you're lucky at 95. Okay? Either way, I don't care about the debate on what intensity really means. Everyone has their own definition of things these days anyway. But either way, it's got to be high. Intensity has to be there. It's not a rule I make. It's law of nature. You have to stress the specimen for it to adapt, grow, change, experience other things, challenge it, make it uncomfortable. Yeah, you want to see something get real strong? Make it uncomfortable. Yeah. That was number 1. Number 2 in our quest for gains, since you found this video and you're awesome, is how much you're doing of that intensity. So that would be, in our terms, for us bodybuilders and also strength athletes and all our powerlifters and strongman and everyone, that's our volume. That's how much work we are doing. There's so many definitions about that. There's so many definitions about what volume means. Bodybuilders probably just say it's how many sets I'm doing. A high volume bodybuilder or trainee would probably do 18, 20, 25, 30 sets of body part a week. That's high volume. Low volume, in essence, or in theory, or in definition, or in practice, would be anything lower than that. Some people claim low volume is 10 sets a week. Some people claim low volume is less than 5. Some claim it's 1. Can't go less than 1, though, because less than 1 is 0. And you can't do half a set. That won't work. Mike was trying to do that. Mike Minter was trying to do that. He always made jokes saying, if we could just skip the workout part and just grow, stimulate somehow without reduction in your recoverability, that'd be great. I'm with him. It'd be awesome. That'd be like workout in a pill. You don't have to do the stress to get the gains. It would just bypass our recoverability science. It would just completely diminish that. It'd be freaking awesome. It's not how it works. I don't think it's ever going to be a thing. Even if it was, would you want that? Would you really want the progress without the struggle? No, because then you can't teach it. What are you going to do with it? The survivors teach. The best warriors that they survived, they taught. Okay, they were in the war, right? They did it. They participated. That's what makes someone great. Going on a rant there. But anyway, volume, necessary, not the end all be all. You got to have some. It's got to be in balance. It leads me to number 3. The balance part of it is your frequency, how often you're doing it. And that the cousin to that is your rest. So how often you're resting. So if you're doing super high intense work, you need to be resting a lot and growing and sleeping. It doesn't mean you need to be lazy with your days off. You can do light stuff. You can do your cardios or your general preparedness workouts. GPP, general physique prepared, something. But you can work on your capacity to do more work in the time being. Because you probably did like an intensity day or worked really, really hard one day, so you're super sore. You just want to grease the groove. Okay, so we covered. You got to train intense enough to stimulate the muscle, to adapt to what you put it through, so it could come back stronger, faster, better, bigger, all the better words. Then we covered you have to balance the intensity with an amount of volume that allows you to recover. And the allowance of recovery comes from how frequently you do rule 1 and 2. Okay? This is 80% of exercise science. This is what we're always going to be talking about. No one's going to ever shut up about this because that's the base. That is the base of all programs. That's the base of if you follow anyone's program, anyone that wrote one, any respectable person, you hired a coach to write one. If intensity isn't there, if adequate amount of volume that you can recover from isn't there, a frequency that at which you can recover from that volume and that intensity is not there, then there's actually not a program. It's just a list of exercises and reps. Not to mention a progressive overload scheme going on. If that isn't even happening, it's just letters and numbers on an Excel sheet. They probably hand it to you and you paid $150 for it. Sorry, like a list of chest exercises with 4 sets, 8 to 12 tells you nothing. It doesn't tell you when you should be progressing, how hard the lift should be, when to back off. I mean, it kind of does tell you what your volume is, but again, That 8 to 12 could be you could be stopping at 8 when you have 8 more to go. Okay, it's lazy on the coach's part to not involve progressive overload along with those 3 other bodybuilding and strength training laws of nature I talked about. You got to have all of those. So those 3 things, intensity, volume, frequency, paired with a progression with progressive overload. It doesn't matter if that's weight on the bar. It does, but it doesn't. Weight on the bar, lowering your rest in between sets is a way to progressively overload. Okay? It doesn't have to always be weight on the bar. It can be making your workout harder through other means. It could be putting your body through ranges of motion it's not used to. Okay? Not all the time, but that's a fun one to do if you're already pretty strong and intermediate and you want to challenge yourself. You've done just bench squatting, overhead pressing, and rowing. You can do fun stuff. You can try sissy squats. Okay? You can go to like literally body weight on sissy squats and just burn out without extra stress on your spine from your squatting all the time. You're not going to lose your gains either. You know, you could do close grip bench instead of regular bench. You know, you got to take variations of barbell training to make them harder in order to see more growth when you reach a certain level of strength. Now, I wouldn't recommend this for the novice because a novice just needs to learn exercise progression and patterns and do everything that a novice needs to do. The novice just needs to be good at being a novice for a minute. And that's the best time. You know, don't rush them. I don't really like rushing the novice phase. People say you should be done with it at a certain time frame. It's like, why rush it? You're getting your fastest gains ever. You're getting your fastest gains ever. Your body's going through progression rate that doesn't cause you body dysmorphia. It's amazing. It's great. Stay on novice as long as you can. Right? Be the student as long as you can. But there comes a time, if you stick with it long enough, you're going to have to do different things. And that's where the other progressive overload techniques come in. Okay? But again, if you're not striving to do better in the gym each time, you know, with or without deloads, whatever, with or without time off, but in the long run, right? In the beginning, you can make progress every time you go in, right? You can add weight to the bar every single session, 3 to 4 times a week. Totally doable. After that, progress comes down to weekly. You'll make progress once a week and have intentions to add weight to the bar on every single lift once a week. That's right around where late novice intermediate starts. And after that, once you're more advanced or specialized, progress really comes down to months. Okay? Adding weight to the bar every month. You get to a certain level with your genetics and your potential and your advancedness. It gets to be that slow, okay? And if you don't want to be advanced or specialized in a certain movement or a sport, then it's fun to just do different things in the gym other than, again, your overhead, your barbell rows, your bench, your typical stuff. It's fun to switch it up. This whole fitness world, this whole strength world, this whole bodybuilding world, it's just a balancing act, okay? Whether you want to say it is or not, okay? So progress and the reasons why you're not making it aren't unlimited, okay? There are reasons. It's not infinite. You can find them out. And you got to test where everything is to pinpoint where you need work on, okay? So with the first rule, if you aren't training intensely enough, You're not going to stimulate adaptation anyway. So you got to be close to a rat failure, bottom line. If you're doing that, that is a stress. So the stress of that means you have to rest. And the resting could be anything. It could be more days off. It could be you're doing light days in between. You're still doing movement. You're still being active. It doesn't mean to be lazy. But in between the heavy or intense days, you're taking it a tad more easy. So you can rest. So you can put back what was used up. Okay? Once you do that, you have to do it again. Right? It's a stimulate, rest, grow, stimulate, rest, grow. Okay? That's linear progression. That's how it works. So once you do that, you have your model, right? You have your intensity, you have your volume, how much of that intensity worked, okay? And then your frequency is how often you're jumping and doing it. And then that graph is progressive overload. Okay, you're adding, since you adapted, you added more weight, or did another set, or rested less. You taxed your heart more. You did more cardio in between, right? Those things make progress in the gym long term. Okay? And like I just said, day by day, week by week, month by month. Sometimes if you're advanced enough, year by year, you'll make gains. But that's just the reality of it. That's just the reality. It's going to take you 8, 9, 10, 11 years to fully fulfill that. It doesn't take 18 months. There's no quick 6-week summer shred as we all want. Okay? Those dudes that freaking promote that stuff have been training for like 15 years. I'm just trying to be real with you guys. Like, that stuff is charlatan moves. Don't be selling something based on your body when you know you put the hard work in and you got people that are going to get duped. It is what it is. So progress in the gym, or your lack of it, has reasons to grow, and it has reasons why you're failing. If you stuck around this long, please like and subscribe, man. Like, this is a longer video. Appreciate you guys, by the way. I know, like, most of my videos, I probably sound like a drill sergeant. I'm not trying. I guess I'm not trying to be, but I'm passionate about it. I want people to grow, get better. I want the info to be out there. I want good content to be out there. I'm trying. So if you made it this far, please help support. It does help me. It does help everything. I'm going to use the whiteboard more too, by the way. This video, that was rough. I turned that one like 3 times. So what else could be stopping you making gains in the gym? Could your food and diet be a problem? Maybe. There's a lot of pseudoscience and junk and hogwash you can read about diet. But unless you are continually striving to eat whole foods all the time, any other theory or method is out the window. Okay? Start there. That is the starting point. If you just committed to 30 days of eating nothing but whole foods and single ingredient foods, you'll see what's been going on. Okay? You'll weed out the trouble areas. So whole foods, things that grow in the earth, things that grow off trees, things that roam around and eat and are on 4 legs or are swimming. Single ingredient things. Things you can't look at and list the ingredients on. Try that out. You try that for a month, no matter what goal you have. Weight loss, muscle building, strength, general physique, fitness, whatever. Do that for a month and see the betterness of yourself just unfold. I'm telling you, that's one of the best pieces of advice you could ever hear. Is just to eat whole foods. That's it. Oh, Trey, what about carnivore? Great, it's whole foods, but you're eliminating entire food groups. It's not necessarily balanced. Well, what about paleo? What about this or that? What about keto? What about just pick whole foods out of your favorites for a long time? Okay? You got a favorite protein source? Eat it. You got a favorite carb source? Eat it. Okay? You have a favorite fat source other than the fats that come with your protein source? Do it. Okay? I'm telling you, just do that. If you commit to that for 30 days, you will see a phenomenal change in your appearance, physique, your abilities in the gym will just skyrocket everything. All of it. Okay? So if you aren't doing that and everything else in the gym I just talked about is spot on, but you're still not seeing progress, maybe it is diet. Okay? A lot of people claim that diet is 90% of your gains in the gym. So if you're ignoring it, you might as well not be training. It's about half and half to me. If you're not in the gym to stimulate the growth, you're not going to grow anyway. You can't just eat your way to a better looking physique or strength, unfortunately. So you need both. But you aren't doing yourself any favors if you're not eating in a whole food way while you're training. They just go hand in hand. They're salt and pepper. They're milk and cereal. You know, they go together like that. So that could be your reason why you aren't seeing the gains in the gym either. It's your diet. It's your diet. I hate to be the one to tell you that. But if you fix that, you might fix a lot of problems in the gym. Inflammation will go down. You notice inflammation gets better. Less sore, less stiff, less joint paining once you get on whole foods. Actually get nutrients in your body from foods. It's a game changer. I like fasting too. So just do a little restart with a little fast. Medically supported fast, by the way. Try that. Who knows, might help you out with some inflammation and getting things kick-started. What else could possibly stunt your growth in the gym? Now we're getting a bit into more derivatives. You know, we're leaving the fundamentals behind here, but maybe you don't have an adequate gym partner. Maybe you need motivation and a gym partner to get you in there. And I think gym partners they're so valuable if you find a good one. If you find a gym partner that has the same mindset as you, the same goals, almost the same build, teetering on the same strength, so valuable, so rare. You have that. I applaud you. I've had them before. I don't right now. I do miss it. But that's just such an asset in the gym to have a training partner that's like-minded, man. Like that's one that shows up. That's not always late. One that always doesn't steal your pre-workout. One that's not always complaining. Such a freaking asset, man. That's one ticket per gym lifetime, my friends. Is finding that guy. But he could push you to the heights of nothing else. Or you could have gym partners that suck the life out of you, and I've had those too. And those are no fun either. So a gym partner could be holding you back, or a gym partner could be just making you thrive. Don't waste time on people that don't have close enough goals aligned with yours in the gym. Training with you, pushing you, making you better. Camaraderie, jokes, all of those things. It helps. It really does. Another thing that could be holding you back, again, we're getting really nuanced, really into the derivative stuff here. Everything else I talked about is 80% of what's really going to do it for you. But if you're in a lowered state of consciousness, If you're in a lower state of consciousness, then you won't perform as well. If you're in a higher state of consciousness, you typically perform better. There's strength tests that have been conducted that you but you tell someone to think about someone they love or an event they love or something that made them happy. And they tested their strength and they performed better than the group that chose something negative. That's why training it with anger doesn't work. You might think it does. At the end of the day, you're stronger when you're uplifted. Your state of consciousness is higher. You're better everywhere when you're like that. You just have this complete aura of amazingness around you when you have a higher state of consciousness in your training. It's amazing. So those would be a lot of the things that could potentially be in your way. And again, this is stuff that everyone on this platform has talked about. I'm just jumping in the waters of it. Maybe there's like 1% of this that helped you, and it helps that you didn't hear before. Different ideas, different contexts, different experiences, different perspectives help out on all this stuff. And that's what I want to try to do. So I hope this has been informative for you guys. Anyway, I think I'm signing off, guys. It's been a long talk, but I appreciate you.